Macmillan Audio presents The Porcelain Maker by Sarah Freethy. Narrated for you by Kristin Atherton. Book 1. In a tall cabinet, on a glass shelf, lies a white porcelain rabbit. Fluorescent light is reflected in the sheen of its coat. Lifelike, plump and pretty, you can almost imagine pulling it onto your lap to stroke. But there is some tension there. The delicately sculpted ears lie flat, and its sightless, milk-white eyes roll back in fear. A pet made of prey. Underneath, where the soft fur of its belly would be, the porcelain is completely smooth and hides the maker's mark. The word Allah is stamped in an angular font that speaks of bierkellers, pine forests and alpine lodges. Above it, painted in flat black brushstrokes, twin strikes of lightning. SS. Chapter 1. Donna, Cincinnati, August 1993. The asphalt of the parking lot outside Forsyth's bargain auctions was sticky underfoot and ruptured where fists of bittergrass had forced their way through. The sallow sun cast a pall over the low-rise buildings. Thunderheads gathered above, and static itched the air. Clad in cheap aluminium siding and squatting between a dive bar and a Baptist chapel, the auction house itself was nondescript. The chapel and the bar showed few signs of life, but half a dozen cars and pickup trucks were parked outside Forsyth's. Inside the building's metal shell, the thrum of the air conditioner was constant, though it barely made a dent in the day's heat. The main room was cluttered. A gallery of sun-bleached prints and paintings hung on one wall, along with a rack of firearms and a tall glass display cabinet sparsely filled. Rows of folding chairs had been set out in front of a small lectern, though few were occupied. The scent of must seeped up from the faded blue linoleum floor and lingered in the air. At 10 a.m. sharp, a compact woman entered at a brisk trot, a sheaf of papers and a small wooden gavel held to her breast. A halo of stiff, pewter hair framed her face, while the broad shoulders of her jacket gave her the silhouette of a linebacker. She placed her load down on the lectern and looked up at the assembly, beaming with pleasure.
"Good morning. How are y'all doing?"
Barely a dozen bored bodies sat slumped in waiting, but the auctioneer seemed to relish her task nonetheless.
"Okay, folks, I'm going to get you to take a look at the sales sheet so we can get started."
Some made a show of picking up the stapled pages which had been left on their seats, though few had much intention of parting with their money. The auctioneer began to work her way methodically through the lots on the morning's ticket. A mix of catering equipment and farm machinery, high-tech office supplies, and careworn furniture. At times, her high-cadence sing-song patter was barely decipherable, but everyone in the room seemed to understand its ebb and flow. Under the strip lights, blue bottles made slow circuits round the room, and a low growl of thunder threatened in the distance. An oppressive stillness settled in. The spell was broken by the sudden clamour of the bell on the auction house door. A woman stepped inside, and a wave of sullen heat rolled in behind her. She was in her early 50s, deep brown curls shot through with silver. Obviously an outsider, she appeared almost alien in her elegance. Evidently self-conscious, she hurried to a row of empty chairs at the back of the room and sat down, picking up the sales sheet from the seat beside her. The auctioneer began the bidding on an air rifle. After a brief flurry of activity, it went to a man who was sweating profusely, plucking his black t-shirt from the roll.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?